huntsman's away from hearth and home. Watch out for the acromantula. Mighty fine pumpkin harvest this year. Huntsman's away from hearth and home.
This pendant, Your Majesty.
The Lyrians stood within 5 miles of Aldersberg, when the road, which until now they had travelled alone, suddenly filled with all manner of folk. Peasants, merchants, and wounded fighters in tattered uniforms. They trod solemnly in the opposite direction, their worldly possessions on their backs.
Aldersberg's fallen, my lady.
Sighed one of the refugees with a forlorn shrug.
Outer walls breached. King still defends the old town, but black-clad goats are winning. You'd best turn back before it's too late.
We've nowhere to turn to, good man.
The Queen said, then spurred on her horse.
Follow me!
The Queen galloped so fast the wind squeezed tears from her eyes, the Lyrian cavalry close at her heels. Hoofbeats thundered down the high road, and the crowd of refugees parted, making a path for the charging riders.
Faster! Faster!
Soon they set eye on Aldersberg. A red glow filled the horizon, the wind carried screams and the clanking of steel. The once proud city was quickly turning to dust in the Nilfgaardian sun. The Nilfgaardian force moved to block the Lyrians' way. Without slowing, Meve cut down the infantryman who tried to drag her from her saddle with a hook. Her head in a winged helmet fell to the ground, leaving a bloody track.
Lyrians! Attack!
Meve shouted.
Take no prisoners! Bloody hell! You shan't stop me. Not now!
troops!
Catch!
Wise choice.
I smell a leak.
For Demavend!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
You mad? Don't shake that!
Nothing personal, I assure you.
Ha!
Very gloire! nothing. That is what you folk lack.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Erigor.
My scars? No, they don't hurt.
Go on, Enkazer!
Your Grace, all that was but their rear guard.
The Lyrians managed to scatter the Nilfgaardian battalion, one of many besieging Aldersberg. Their scouts brought before the Queen a prisoner freed from the invaders. Niamh inquired about the situation in the city.
Turned the right slaughterhouse it has. The Imperials, they... King had the city cleared, my lady, but didn't budge himself. Holding out with his guard in Old Town, walls still standing there. Said he'd fight to the end, come what may.
Niamh weighed her options. The situation looked dire. Demavend, to whom she had come for help, needed help himself. Nilfgaard enjoyed an overwhelming advantage. The small Lyrian detachment stood no chance of breaking the siege. But to retreat, surrender, that was not something Niamh did.
The Nilfgaardians do not expect a relief force. Rayla, you know Aldersberg. Can you lead us by side streets to the Old Town, that we may avoid the largest part of the Nilfgaardian army?
The warrior nodded, and without waiting for any further orders, strode out in front of the party. Reynard followed her with his gaze, clearly troubled.
And what then, Your Majesty? We burst into the lion's den and...
And we pray the lion chokes. Follow me!
The walls crushed and breached. The lower town in flames. Hundreds, thousands wounded. Thousands more fled. King Demavend will fight to the end. He'll save the city or die with it. Turn back. Turn back while you've the strength to run, while you have your life. Aldersberg falls. Aldersberg is lost. King Demavend will fight. King Demavend will fight to the end. He'll save the city or die with it.
Tomorrow was a hamster, and your father smelled of elderberries. Amort, Lyrian Quan. Atven Esnar. Amort, Lyrian Quan. Amort, Lyrian Quan.
Gods have mercy. And demons take it all.
Taking advantage of the confusion, Niamh maneuvered her troops to the very walls of the Old Town. Spying Lyrian banners, the defenders suspected a trap. But when they noticed Black Rayla among them, they immediately lowered the drawbridge. The Old Town was a maze of brothels and shady taverns. In normal times, students and other pleasure seekers prowled its dark alleys. Now, tired soldiers slumped in every corner, though the Lyrians' arrival clearly buoyed their spirits. The Fraternal Realm's warriors clasped each other's hands and swapped tales. Even Eden's King Demavend made no secret of his pleasure at seeing these unexpected arrivals.
Me! Of all the besieged cities in all the world, you walk into mine. Come to the rescue, have you?
To be quite frank, I've come to be rescued.
Oh, yes. I've heard much of the events in Lyria. Disgraceful. Such betrayal. However, as you might have noticed, things are none too rosy here either.
Yes, that is hard to miss.
I thought we'd trade blows with the Blackclads. That it would be an even match. 2 weeks. That sufficed to annihilate the army I'd spent my whole lifetime building.
Your Majesty, I cannot say what fate will bring, if we shall reach this war's end alive. But I wish to say now that I admire you.
Oh?
You evacuated the city, yet refused to evacuate yourself. You fight to the bitter end, like a hero.
But of course. A king must lead by example, after all. Especially in war.
Reynard, that rumbling, you hear it? Studded boots on cobblestones. The Nilfgaardians. Prepare the men for battle.
Yes, Your Grace.
So, now that we're alone, what's really going on?
What? Did you not hear? I'm defending my capital, like a hero.
Like a man bent on suicide, rather. Demavend, I hate to retreat as much as the next ruler, but sometimes you must pull back to strike another day.
If we must be fully honest, there is another reason I've not left the city. See that building? That one there.
The brothel? The Crimson Bodice?
Precisely. So, I promise not to laugh. I'm a patron. A loyal one, in fact. One of the girls there, Demaretta. She's marvelous. Makes me feel young again.
A young fool, you mean? Demavend, there's a war on, and...
Allow me to finish. Demaretta became, well, with child. Exactly 9 months ago. Understand now?
She's entered confinement. Having contractions.
Since yesterday. You see, I cannot leave her like this. Can't have her moved. I must stay put until she gives birth.
And then what? Pray tell. Invite all of Nilfgaard to the christening?
No, my dear. There is a hidden tunnel deep beneath the city, leading far beyond its walls. Once the midwives cut the cord, we flee.
I understand. For one's child, one would do anything.
Odd, isn't it? Amusing, even. Midst of a war, my kingdom burning all around. And I'm happy.
In that case, I can only hope your offspring, unlike mine, will continue to.
Your Majesties, the Nilfgaardians are attacking.
Meve, we must hold out. A few hours, that's all.
I'll do what I can. Defend the king! We must stop them!
Inarignalde Thronebreaker.
Demavend!
This could hurt.
I've hit the white of an eye from half a league away.
Barbarians.
I want their heads! Anvallen in order!
Bigger they are, easier they are to target.
They're getting close! Devils take all, help me!
Thing about slings, they hide well.
Neve! We must hold on a bit longer.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
It worked! Now retreat to the tunnel!
With their forces combined, the rulers managed to hold the old town long enough for Demereta to bear the king's offspring, a healthy, hardy boy. When the midwife slapped the infant, his scream carried above the roar of battle. Soon afterwards, the defenders abandoned the walls and left the city through a secret tunnel. The Nilfgaardians, furious that not one but 2 northern sovereigns were among the escapees, razed Aldersberg to the ground.
Thank you. If not for you, the devils would have devoured us.
I should say it was nothing. But the truth is, I need your aid.
Aid? But you see, my army is no more. I must pull back, regroup.
Pull back? Where to? The golden sun flies over your entire realm.
To Redania, to take shelter at the court there.
And then? Will you sit and watch the fool juggle apples as Nilfgaard parcels all Edirn out to its settlers?
Meve, one must know when to fold and when to double down. Nilfgaard has stretched the front. Winter will soon be here. Let the costs claw away at them. A year, 2, then we strike. And we shall prove the Empire is a colossus with feet of clay.
Fine. Do as you see fit.
And you?
I can't live like that.
So what shall you do instead?
Fight on. Until I win. Or the black-clad curs tear me apart.
Gods, such pity I have for your husband. The poor man must have had a rough go of it.
He seemed content with his life while it lasted. Yet I'm serious, Demavend, in my request. You truly won't aid me. Provide nothing at all.
I will tell my men whoever so wishes can join your party and fight on. But please, curb your excitement. They are tired. Few will choose the path of greater resistance. But, are you familiar with the saying, when at wit's end, a dwarf's your friend?
Yes, it and many others. Yet as much as I appreciate folk wisdom, I prefer facts to philosophy at the moment. Preferably facts relevant to my situation.
How about this? Mahakam is but a week's ride from here. And there you'll find thousands of dwarves armed to the teeth. Enough to turn the tides of this war, I venture.
Yes, they could. If not for another fact. That the dwarves have always been famously indifferent to strife between humans. They'll never come to my aid. I doubt they'll even let me into their land.
Unless you show them this. The Leaden Ring. A token of amity given to me by the Elder-in-Chief. That's not to say they'll welcome you with open arms, but they will hear you out. And that is something.
Dwarven infantry I'd make good use of. I shall do as you say. Or at least try.
Good. And to ease your journey somewhat, I'll give you as your guide the best man, or rather woman, for the task. Rayla!
Yes, Your Grace?
You have been to Mahakam with me many times. You know their paths. Take Queen Meve and her party there.
If it be your wish, my king, I shall obey.
I'll send messengers ahead that the dwarfs may expect your arrival. Until then, good luck, Meve. And may we one day waltz upon the grave of our foe, Emperor Emir.
May it be so. Just as long as I get to lead.
Ah, of course. Farewell, Queen.
Meve left Aldersberg in ill spirits. Rather than provide the help she had hoped for, Demavend had merely sent her on to Mahakam. Her way west was lit first by the glow of a burning city, then by the smouldering remains of charred villages by the roadside. It was clear the war against Nilfgaard had taken a bitter turn. Each stranger was now treated as an enemy, and the customarily hospitable Edirnians slammed their doors at anyone's approach. The party's morale was somber as well, and did not even improve with the first sight of mountains looming in the distance. Wandering among the ashes, Meve entered the dwarves' domain. Along perilously steep paths, Black Rayla led the Queen and company towards Mahakam. a dwarven homeland. There, among snow-capped peaks, someone awaited.
Rayla, you brought strangers.
Gabor, I present to you Maeve, Queen of Lyria and Rivia.
Ah, a queen. Crivens. Well then,
A large shadow swept across the sky. The dwarf swallowed the rest of his greeting as all raised their gazes to see a dragon soar swiftly toward Mount Carbon.
Keltalus, dinna be afeard, he isn't a threat to us.
The dwarf had broken the silence gently, he himself quite familiar with this altogether unusual sight.
And now, sit yourselves down afore the pottage grows cold.
But... Flew. Drake?
Stone shrivelling marvel, innit? Makes you almost sad the lizards are dying out.
Should you not worry more about the fate of your brethren? That creature will soon have all Mahakam aflame.
Ha! Keltalus? No! He's lived here centuries. Harmless for the most part. Now, your grace, a taste?
No, none. Though your offer of repast I value, good sir.
Oh, no need of that. Gabor, please. Enchanted to make your acquaintance.
Gabor here's a true local notable, from one of Mahakam's leading clans, the Zigrins. But then he wouldn't be our guide if he wasn't. A guide for all important guests.
A pleasure. And as I said, I thank you for your hospitality, but I've no time to feast now. I must speak to your ruler at once.
Don't mean no offence, but Elder-in-Chief Bruverhoog's a recluse of sorts, as humans go. Didn't even meet the ones that wear crowns. But I suppose I could, meaning if you drafted a letter...
Her Majesty's got Demavend's signet, given willingly.
Ah. Well, that's a sheep of a different sort. We didn't let many human folk into Mahakam, and for good reason. So those who we let come through the second gate get blindfolded. Just after they've surrendered their arms at the first. But you've the Leaden Ring. Given one of your kind to confirm trust and amity. So, we're certain we can treat you as one of our own. Elder-in-Chief's in the pass visiting. Looking to his flock. Come on. No reason you two shouldn't jabber right quick.
Though the Lyrian infantry rose half an ell taller than the dwarf, he moved with remarkable ease through the waist-high snow, while those behind him slipped and stumbled on the ice-slick rocks. Maeve and Rayla trailed the party, so they might speak in private.
The ring. However did Demavend come to possess it?
Elder-in-Chief himself gave it to him, years ago. A decade, perhaps more.
Why?
Oh, you must have heard the tale, Your Grace. You see, formerly, Foltest of Temeria's sovereign of Mahakam, he believed it was his right to tax any Leand lands, so he sent collectors. Well, the dwarves felt stripped, so they stripped the collectors down to their natural state. Put them in beer barrels, they then rolled down the mountainside.
Ah, my. That incited Foltest's ire, I'm sure.
Indeed, Ember hot ire. A punitive expedition was assembled immediately. We're about to set off when Demavend managed to dissuade Foltest. Elder-in-Chief gave him the ring in thanks.
I see it all now. Prevented Mahakam's slaughter, Demavend did.
Your Majesty, Demavend prevented a slaughter, true. But Foltest's in the Temerians, not the dwarves. Mahakam and fortifications. Well, you'll soon see. No human will take them, ever.
The Elder's gratitude, then? Not certain I know where it came from.
Had the dwarves crushed the Temerians? No, when they had done so, what would have happened? Why, retaliation against all non-humans in Temeria. Bruver knew this, so in fact, Demavend saved them.
Exceptionally provident, the Elder-in-Chief.
And shrewd as a swarm of snakes. So when you speak, beware his hiss, and weigh your every word.
Non-humans you despised immensely, I believed.
They don't bother me a bit. Long as they stay in their lands, seek fortune nowhere else. I detest only those who infest our cities, humbly insist on belonging to our guilds, holding office in our institutions, armies.
Yet some find a place for themselves, blending marvellously.
It's never lasting. They're different, odd. Strain's inevitable. And then they'll always stab a human in the back.
Rayla, your aid proved an unexpected bounty.
I received orders. I fulfilled them to their end.
My, I see. And what will you do now?
Our paths diverge, not more. I return home now, where new orders surely await.
Demavend has fled to the Redanian court, where he shall cower and not show his mug until spring has sprung. You know this. Would you not prefer to remain in my ranks? Fight the Black Ones bound at the hip?
No, Your Grace.
You have no love for me, do you?
We are not of the same stock, Your Grace, so it's hardly my place to...
Stock and place be ploughed. We must speak from our hearts. Two women, no enmity. Tell me why. I did something you could not abide.
It was what you did not do, rather. In Edern, you were far too lenient on those elves. As you are ever, prepared to forgive, extend clemency.
What would you have me do? Let you cleanse, rid the wood of all non-humans?
Wickedness demands wickedness. Blood calls for blood.
Very well, Rayla. Then go and drink of it if you must.
Lips pursed, eyes locked, Meve and Rayla took each other's measure a last time. The warrior then bowed in a manner some might think excessively courtly, turned on her heel, and rode off down a slope. Meve gazed after her until she disappeared behind a snowbank, then gave her mount a solid dose of her heels, and rode on, irked as a hare in a briar patch.
Your Grace, I've a message for your eyes only.
Isbel?
Apologies. Thoughts consume me sometimes. Is there something you need?
Since we left Edirn, you've seemed unsettled. Is all in order?
I've seen many wars in my time. All ugly, all repulsive. But what the Imperials did at Aldersberg was... it was unforgivable.
Nilfgaard. That's what it does, Isbel. They seek here to repeat the rape of Sintra, the slaughter there.
Yes, I saw that. I was there. And at Sodden.
Then you know of what they're capable?
After Sodden, I took an oath never to take part in another war. Such suffering, such hatred, senseless, all those deaths.
Senseless deaths? Our troops sacrificed their lives in defense of their homeland, loved ones.
I must believe there's a better way. Forgive me, Mum. I must gather my thoughts. Never mind about me, though. I shall perform my duties to my utmost, as ever, as always.
You speak with my soldiers a good deal. Said so yourself. I'd like to know what about.
Corporal Larkin, Ma'am. Do you know him? Captain Oisin, perhaps? Or Lieutenant Tegan?
Of course I know them. Among my best. They've served me loyally for years.
You know them. But did you know that in fleeing Lyria, the corporal left behind a newborn daughter? His wife was in confinement when you gave the order to march. The corporal could not go to see them. And true, the captain has no wife, no child. But he's not seen his brother in 5 years. Never once been granted leave. Your General Odo's orders always taking precedence.
Allow me to guess. You shall now tell me Tegan abandoned his sick mother to follow me.
No, Ma'am. Count Caldwell's men murdered the lieutenant's kin. Retaliation for his joining your rebellion. He learned of this just recently.
Enough. You've made your point. Yet even were I to order them to return, they wouldn't listen. They know they've got nothing to go home to while Nilfgaard occupies our land. Duty calls. I must go.
Of course. Should you need me, I'll be here.
Yes, Your Grace?
How go things, Reynard? You and Gascon get along now, I hope.
Well, you might say we've established a certain rapport, Your Grace.
Tell me more, friend.
I don't pry into his affairs, nor he into mine.
I'd prefer it if my commanders worked together more closely.
Your Grace, the man's a brigand.
Oh, Reynard. He was a brigand.
I must disagree, I fear. Yes, he's stopped thieving for now, but only because it's convenient, so to speak. Gascon isn't a changed man. He still hasn't an ounce of honor, dignity.
Yet he has a unit of armed men, without which we'd be much worse off. Might not even have survived.
Agreed. The Strays are excellent fighters. I'd be the first to admit it. I only fear they might turn on us. Leap at our throats when we least expect it.
It's time I attended to other matters.
Hey-ho, how's my favourite queen in the north?
You and Reynard, do you get along?
Like a cat and a hound. Get it? 'Cause they call me
Yes, your jests are easily understood. Far more difficult to enjoy.
That's probably true, in your Royal High and Mightiness's case.
Will you answer my question?
We get along because we must. Though it'd be far easier if he pulled the lance from his arse.
Haven't heard a truer word in a long while.
What was that?
Nothing. It's time I attended to other matters. Farewell.
Yes, milady?
You choose not to follow your king, Xavier. Why?
To fight in the field, with you. This was my wish, my lady.
But what of your home? Rosberg must be rebuilt. Engineers are needed.
I've no kin in Rosberg. No soul left for me there. All I've left is revenge.
I understand. Other matters await my attention. We shall speak later.
As you wish, my lady.
Your Grace, I need to speak with your quartermaster. Excuse my Elvish, but I can't drink that goat's piss he serves in the mess.
Reynard's doing, no doubt. He doesn't like the men to drink too much.
To be blunt, ma'am, what Reynard himself needs is to get good and bloated for once in his stiff life. So, I have a proposal for you. A shipment of the best dwarven mead and lager. I can arrange for you to arrive. Trust me, the men's morale's nae like to be a problem when they pour a bit of fire in their guts.
Good point. Very well.
Oh, give my thanks, dear Queen. A few more days of that and I'd have been lapping up puddle water.
I trust you'll arrange the details.
Of course, no worries. You didn't ken how happy a dwarf you've made me. Ah, right. And the men too, of course.
You're a Zigrin, are you not? I know the name. One of your clan slew the dragon Ockvist.
Aye. You're thinking of Yarpen. Cousin of my cousin. Left Mahakam when I was but a wee snot. Decent enough dwarf, but never could conform to our basic tenets and laws. Though, admittedly, we've so damn many it's hard to keep them from leaking out your ears.
Is it that bad?
I'll put it this way. Among human folk, you can't steal, brawl, murder. All the basics. In Mahakam, we've got laws about how to braid our beards. But I'm no one to complain. The Zilgrins are well-to-do, one of the richer clans. Got more than enough goods to suit our needs. Though, we've got some bads as well.
What do you mean?
Bah! Nae worth your time. I didn't mean to bother you. Sides, best to jabber of such things over a cold pint. Or keg?
Your elder. I'd like to know more. Do tell me about him, please.
One tough horseman, Brewer. Stubborn as an old goat, as you'll soon see for yourself. All in all, though, he's nae as scary as some say. Been keeping the clans in check for some 2 centuries now. Which is nae a small feat, I might add, no.
No conflicts between them all this time. Are you certain?
I can't tell if you're jesting. At each other's throats each day they are. Breckenrigs despise the Chives. Dalbergs would scratch out the Hoog's eyes given half the chance. As for us, we hate them arse-licking fuchses. But Brewer's got his ways, keeps each yen in line. If not for him, Mahakam would have fallen to bits ages past.
Why?
Round 150 years ago, when the elves were fighting that hopeless war against your folk, the Elder-in-Chief ordered the pass to Mahakam sealed tight. If it weren't for that, we'd have ended up like the pointy ears. As it was, we waited for the shite storm to abate. Didn't open the pass and stretch your legs again till it were safe.
Yes, I remember. The manufactories in Rivia have yet to recover.
With all due respect, Your Grace, your workshops forge utter crap. It's nae our fault that human folk prefer dwarven goods. Basic market principles, that's all it is.
I feel enlightened, Gabor. Thank you. We shall return to this conversation later.
No skin off my back. We see each other, Your Grace.
Worked in a mess once that served no meat, not even sausage. Weren't long before the men rioted.